Hello everyone, this is section 1.1 in the Silver Quality Award application for the reporting year 2023-2024. Actually, it's in 2023, but it's the reporting year for 2024. So we're going to get into section 1.1. Here we go. The first question, if you remember, is the basic question. This is the basic question in every one of the 1.1a, 1.2a, 2.1a, all the A questions are the basic question. And one of the most important things I want to point out is that I added how many points are associated with this one question. The reason that I wanted to point it out, because I don't add how many points are in each section, only this one, is because this question, the leadership question, is the most important question of the entire application as indicated by the number of points that are associated with it. This is the highest scoring section that you can get. You can't get 70 points on any other section by itself. Only this section. That is how important this section is. If you do not get this section right, it's going to be very difficult to get the award. That's because leadership, as you know, is the most important thing in senior care, in any business, but especially in senior care. So, just to point something out, we know right from the top here, it is a how question. And in fact, in section 1.1, there are only how questions. There is no other type of question in section 1.1. Only how. And when we see the word how, we want to think of the word process. And when we think of the word process, I want you to consider a step by step. 1, 2, 3, 4, like however you need to do it. For me, it's fine. I find it way easier if I number everything because I'm looking for my processes, my step by step. So the question is, how or what process do your senior leaders use to lead the organization? How do your senior leaders lead the organization? First and foremost, just want to be clear, your senior leaders are only those in your center, not your corporate. Nobody outside of your center, not the VP, not the regional DO, not whoever it is outside of your organization, even though they may be your senior leader. That's not what we're talking about. Senior leaders, according to the application process, we're talking about those leaders inside the nursing home, inside the assisted living center. Nobody outside the home counts as a senior leader for this application. And to further expand on what a senior leader is anybody in a position of leadership. So it's not just the administrator, it's not just the DON, it is also the dietary manager, the housekeeping manager, the charge nurses on the unit, the ADON, the business office manager, the maintenance director, right? Like all the managers in your organization, your direct department heads are part of the senior leadership team. The question is, how do the senior leaders lead the organization? And I like to think in terms of process maps myself. I think it's really helpful to go step 1, we do this, and then we do this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And I like to draw it out. I literally like to have like a diagram that kind of goes like this, and these little arrows, and then they split off, and this, and then this, and then this, and then this side splits off to this. And all I'm saying, all I'm trying to draw here, I know it's kind of archaic here, but there's probably some policies and procedures, and we probably have 2 different sections. We maybe have a clinical side, and we probably have an operation side, and then the clinical oversees this clinical side, the operations oversee this side, and all of these managers, and you probably have morning meetings, and you probably have in-services, and you probably have, the most classic thing that I see in organizations, senior care organizations, and the one I'm most familiar with is we have we're guided by some principles, we're guided by our mission and our vision. We're very specifically trying to accomplish these specific things in this specific way, but then we also have this morning meeting, and then in the morning meeting, we get together and we talk about all the things that we're going to be going over for the day. I like the word CADI, C-A-D-I, which stands for census, admissions, discharges, and issues. That was when I first started in senior care. I was told to always bring a piece of paper and just write the word CADI on it, C-A-D-I, and then make sure I don't leave the morning meeting without answering those questions. What's today's census? How many admissions do we have? Do we have any discharges? Any issues, right? And then you take that information. Each department head probably, maybe, takes that information and goes and has a huddle with their own team, right? So that director of housekeeping now goes and has a huddle with their housekeepers. The nurse managers go to the nurse unit, go to their unit, and maybe have a huddle with their CNAs or their STNAs or their LNAs, depending on where you are in the country and what you call a nursing assistant, right? And so then maybe there's even a feedback loop to where you're gaining more information. Maybe you have a strategy that you might have already identified in your profile, so maybe you're managing by walking around. Maybe you have a PDSA process, right? Like, think in terms of what do you do step by step in question 1, how do senior leaders lead the organization? And once again, just want to point out 70 points of writing on this question, so it's the very, very important question. What process do your senior leaders use to lead the organization? You could also include measures, follow-ups, all of that.